Let's also understand what's happening in the markets by way of the volatility that is currently the course of action in the markets. We're wondering whether the defensives are the ones to concentrate on. And within that universe, pharma has a big role to play, which is why we're taking a closer look at the second quarter numbers of pharma major Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. And it's turned out to be a mixed bag this time. The company's revenues have gone up 16.5% if you do a consolidated year-on-year calculation. The profit, though, has declined more than 9% in that same period. In fact, Dr. Reddy's has now approved that fund infusion by way of equity investments worth 600 crores, and this in their wholly owned Russia unit. But let's connect with the management and get a sense of the direction of growth that the company is on. Erez Israeli is the CEO of Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, and he joins us. Mr. Israeli, always a pleasure having you on India Tonight. Thanks for making the time. I'm looking at your US sales first. That's where we've seen a year-on-year 17% growth. But there is a decline sequentially, which is about 3%. Can we expect continued sequential volume declines? What's your outlook for the kind of sales that you have in the US in the coming quarters? What's the outlook?
Sure. So we are firstly in a pattern of double-digit growth, and that pattern will continue. Quarter on quarter, there are always changes because it's a pattern. As you know, we are selling business to business, so we are selling to distributors, we are selling to retail chains, and sometimes the alignment of orders, inventory can vary from a quarter to quarter, and it can be also sometimes vary from a product to product. But overall, what we are going to see in the next, the second part of FY25 is the continuation of the growth. We are in a regime of about single-digit of price erosion, so it's relatively milder than what we saw in the past, and 20 launches. So overall, it should be very, very healthy future or near future for the company.
All right, so that's about the future, and we take your point, Mr. Israeli. But when you look at your market share, especially in the cancer drugs, when you talk about a drug like Revlimid, what's the kind of market share you're aiming for? How is it evolving in 2024 and, of course, ahead in 2025?
So we are not allowed to speak specifically on the numbers of the product, but absolutely we are still in the contract, and the numbers are very healthy, and it's going to continue to be a very strong and robust product for us also for the entire duration of the agreement with the innovator.
Fair point, Mr. Israeli, but tell us about the India business. I'm looking at strong results for India with a double-digit growth, and this is according to the guidance that you've given earlier. But do you expect that momentum to continue from the Indian market? The key factors, which would those be when you talk about growth? Because India has a lot to do with how the company fares in the future.
Yeah, so it's a continuation of things that we are focusing on them for quite some time. One is obviously the focus on the bigger brands that we have. So we do have certain brands that lead this growth, and this focus on them will continue. Some of them are legacy brands that we have for many years, and some of them are new products that we got. In addition to that, the brands that we acquired over the years, including the recent one that we got from Novartis or from Sanofi, this will also enable us additional growth. And in addition to that, we are building a very robust innovation portfolio that as part of what we called Horizon 2, and this is to bring to India better standard of care of products. So between the new products, the legacy brands, and the brands that we acquired, we will see double-digit growth also in the next quarters.
Right, and you're expecting positive numbers to come through from the Sanofi business, but also tell us about the over-the-counter part of your business. It has become a significant contributor, hasn't it? I mean, there is a role that it plays. What is that role that you see playing out in the medium to long term, and how much larger do you think the over-the-counter business is going to grow into?
Sure. Thank you for that. We believe very much in wellness and in the direct-to-consumer approach, and we love those products that allow people and allow us to communicate directly with the consumers. We made two important moves during this quarter. We finalized the partnership with Nestle to bring nutraceuticals to India and actually to build a leading nutraceutical business in India. This is going to take few years to build, but there is a huge potential, I believe, in better nutrition in India. And obviously, it is a very important market for us. In addition, we acquired the nicotine reduction therapy, and this is a business in which we have globally, and we're actually selling in many countries. And we basically going to take country by country, 4 million, and started to market it by ourselves. We believe that we can add to this product innovation, meaning additional type of product needed, markets, as well as focus. And absolutely, we have enough financial capacity to buy additional brands if we will find them. And our BD people are absolutely looking for it. So what you're going to see is global efforts in India, emerging market, Europe, United States, on both organic and inorganic also in the future.
So over-the-counter business, we understand it remains a big piece, especially in the Indian market. But since you mentioned Nicotinell, that acquisition, now that you've completed it, I also want to ask you how much contribution on the revenue side you see from the Nicotinell business. Are you expecting it to draw in big dividends?
So it's a sizable business of about 240 million pounds a year, so it's British pounds. And absolutely from Q3, we will include these numbers in our profit and loss. So we are going to see it from there on. From Q3, we will recognize those numbers.
Also, Mr. Israeli, if you can help us with an estimate of Nicotinell's quarterly revenue contribution. Can you help us with that?
So you can take, if we say that the business is about 140 million pounds in a year, so give or take, it's not a seasonal product, so give or take, it should be the ratio of about that amount going into the P&L. So we are talking about somewhere around the 350 CR, if you want to do the math, that will add to the sales every quarter.
That helps, Mr. Israeli. Thanks for that. But also, I wanted to ask you, because within the pharma industry, research and development is a big expense, but of course, it's an important expense that pharma companies incur. I just want to understand, do you plan to revise any of your previous targets when it comes to R&D and what you set aside for it? What areas also are you focusing on when it comes to R&D investments?
So we are proud of R&D. We are by and large an organic company. The R&D is focusing on generics, but primarily peptides, as well as injectables. In addition to that, we are investing in biosimilars. So we will maintain the range that we have today for R&D, and we'll focus more on these kind of products in addition to some clinical trials that we are doing for the innovation products that we are licensing in for India, and the products that we are launching every year. So overall, almost 100 plus globally, and about 20 to 25 products in the United States that's likely to continue because of that R&D spend.
All right, Mr. Israeli, we'll leave it there with a lot of hope, and we wish you great luck for the path ahead. Thanks very much for joining us to break down the Q2 numbers and the direction of growth that you're going towards. But meanwhile,
if you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.